Hi, I'm Prodgers. Welcome to Just Off the Highway, and welcome to Johannesburg. This is a fraction of it, of course. The city sort of sprawls in every direction. It seems perfectly prepared to head off in whatever direction the smell of money is. And you can change its name and try to carve it up into bits to try to govern it, but it'll let you do anything as long as you've got the money to pay. Even after more than 30 years in this city, it's still different. Other places feel like a family home. Johannesburg is like a landlord demanding rent every day. You start again. There's very little time for sentimentality. But small reminders of the beginnings of this place do still exist. There are more than grainy old photographs. The literal foundation stones of Johannesburg can be found and touched if you're brave enough. This episode of Just Off the Highway is part 1 of 2. Many people say this city has no memory. I'm going to try and prove them wrong. Let's start with a bit of spatial orientation. When we think about the shape of Johannesburg, I'm standing on the hill outside the Braamfontein Civic Centre, looking south towards the old Johannesburg CBD. For millennia, this was all grassland. Northwest of here, about 50 kilometers, is the cradle of humankind. There were humans living in this area from about the time that there were humans alive anywhere. By the late 1800s, all around us were farms. Let me point out which farms existed before gold was discovered. That way, north and west was Braamfontein, which translates as Bramble Fountain. The farm was much bigger than this part of the city that carries its name today. In that direction, east, there's Doornfontein, meaning thorny fountain, and south was Turffontein, because there was plenty of clay, so the name means clay fountain. On the Highveld, water has always been scarce, so good water sources were top of mind for farmers. And over there, more or less southwest, was Langlaagte, meaning long valley or dip. It's the only farm that didn't directly reference a fountain. It was on Langlaagte that payable gold was discovered in 1886. Now, for centuries, people had mined for various minerals on a small scale, and it's impossible to capture the whole complicated story in an episode of Just Off the Highway. But to massively simplify, a man named George Harrison, that's his statue over there, stumbled on the place where the world's greatest deposit of gold was, the main reef of the Witwatersrand. It's the place where it reaches the surface. Now, he was only one of a number of prospectors searching over the landscape. It would have been found sooner or later, but he's the one who's actually responsible for starting the chain of events that led to all of this. And for his achievement, or perhaps for his sin, George Harrison was entitled to a single claim, the Discoverer's Reward, claim number 19. I can take you to see what's left of it. That is part of the original claim, number 19. Alongside it is claim 21, which was the claim belonging to Harrison's business partner, George Walker. Now, unfortunately, despite this park being a monument, It's been neglected and invaded by illegal miners called zamas, who are prepared to risk their lives under appalling conditions to get into the old mine workings for whatever gold is left down there. These guys have been known to fight pitched battles with the police, so it is simply too dangerous to go in there unless you're in an organized group with security. What the zamas do is dangerous and illegal and has had lethal consequences. Their desperate seeking for fortune also feels like a slice of the old Johannesburg. This city is a giant machine. We don't even operate it. Somehow we're just component parts. And as humans, we're drawn down into the works and we become part of it. We all experience that irresistible pull. We're caught in its gravitational field. And somehow we're unlikely to escape. But George Harrison, the original finder, did find a way out. He worked his claim for a few months, probably dreamed the fevered dreams of boundless wealth that generations have experienced when they first see the Witwatersrand, and then he gave up. Did he run out of money, get disillusioned? Whatever the reason was, he sold his front door key to the world's richest treasure chamber for £10, and he simply walked away. He walked off the Witwatersrand. He mysteriously disappeared right out of the pages of history and was never heard of again. It's as if the earth, having yielded so much riches, demanded something in return and just swallowed him up. But the possibility of wealth brought thousands of people swarming in from all over the world, and they all needed somewhere to just be. Technically, they were all trespassing on private property. But some farms were hastily declared public diggings by the government of the Zuid-Afrikaanse Republiek, or the Transvaal, and other farmers refused to allow digging. Land was being invaded. Anybody trying to set up a tent or a shack on what might turn out to be the reef ran the risk of being undermined, and they and their dwelling ending up falling into someone else's digging operation. It was chaos. And the attempt to find a solution to that chaos is what I want to show you in part 2. I hope you'll join me on this drive where we actually find the touchstones of the original Johannesburg. In the meantime, please like and subscribe if you want to be part of my journey to keep South African stories alive and to make them accessible to the YouTube generation. I'd really appreciate it if you become a member or a once-off supporter at buymeacoffee.com/Prodgers, where you can also get regular bonus episodes. Or you can simply hit the thanks button below this video. See you on the road. Bye.